So yeah, we just had a two-parter. It was a complete fucking waste of our time.
Yeah.
I mean, the interesting idea of the Civil Wars may continue, but
So everybody, I hope you'll join me once again because I'm still okay. Blips. From this point on, I shall dub these commentaries as where we're going to play. Where's Wally, Dwibs? See if you can find Korra's needs. Let's see if you can. It's a mess. This show is a big mess, so it's going to be hard, just like in Wally's books. So,
well, we technically have her needs. She needs to get help from the president so that, her southern water tribe won't be oppressed by the northern water tribe.
No, that's more like a goal job. A need has to be an obstacle, a personal obstacle, or some kind of weakness that she has to overcome.
Her need is to grow.
Need has to remember, Job. A need has to do with overcoming an obstacle or a personal weakness, so that the person has to change to overcome said weakness.
That's easy. She needs to get a clue. She needs to get a better personality. She needs to be nicer to her friends and family. And she needs to be as good a character as Varric, because Varric is way more awesome.
That could be, but unfortunately,
let's go with it then.
All right, start at the Nickelodeon logo. And here we go in 3, 2, 1, click. Okay. For as much as I broke down with the last two-parter, I'll admit, back when this came out, the fanbase was actually excited because now it seemed like we were getting somewhere. Sure, Korra was kind of an idiot for taking so long to realize that her uncle was obviously evil, and yeah, the whole thing with her friending a judge really got a lot of fans to cringe, but at least now it seemed like we were going somewhere. We had an interesting idea, the civil wars between the Northern Water Tribe and the Southern Water Tribe. And where did it go? I'll just let you watch and see.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, I have to show you guys that movie one of these days.
Can I press the skip recap button?
What? Wait.
No.
Oh, starting to not like the recaps?
Hey, I want to hear me some Jeff.
Amazon Prime has a button where you can press it skips recaps.
Okay, by the way, can I also talk about how stupid it is that a president of all...
Why are they arresting a bunch of waterbenders?
I have no idea.
Because they were standing with the uncle, remember too.
I knew that.
Hey, Lynn!
So yeah, there's a civil war going on, but we're not going to focus on that right now. Remember, Dwibs.
Is this the bill now?
Dwibs. I know that there's a civil war going on. It's like a big thing, but I'm going to ask you to ignore that right now.
I don't want to ignore it. That's kind of a big deal.
Ignore the elephant in the room, Shiroi. Ignore it!
No! I refuse.
I hate to say it.
It's a war. You can't be neutral. Jesus Christ.
Okay. To be fair, Mako kind of has a point. She's the Avatar. Granted.
Not only that, it's the whole argument, not in a sense that, if you kill him, you're just gonna be like him, but in a sense, if in order to stop violence, you perpetrate the violence as much, how much better are you than the person you're perpetrating upon?
Yeah.
Goody!
Is this what the episode's going to be about? Bolin trying to think of something to do?
This is actually one of the best plot points of Season 2 that actually goes somewhere, for the most part.
What would that be, Joba?
Basically, Varric is going to use Bolin for a special project, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What's the special project, Season 3?
We'll see.
So, interesting. How has this been portal controlled, actually? Do they have to did this shut itself or...
I guess you could say things escalated last episode.
You see, Shiro, it's kind of like how Microsoft was trying to distract me from the lack of exclusives by throwing multiplats in my face.
So, your ploy is to find Korra, not your supposed husband. Oh, but...
Lady, you need to fix your makeup.
Yeah, but the guy was like, concentrate.
Oh, no.
Pedro,
you were wrong. It is this episode.
I'm having... No.
Okay, folks. Let me remind you, there's a civil war going on in the northern and southern water tribes. So what is Tenzin now stooped down to? They make him the filler of the season.
Yes. Tenzin is gonna be the filler subplot.
He's babysitting.
Yeah, we could be focusing on the Civil War aspect. No, we're going to have this entire subplot of what's his name again? The kid, Mr. Annoying
Milo.
dipshit.
The kid.
We're gonna have an entire subplot of Milo trying to train the Sleemer. I know that has completely nothing to do with anything, and it's just a waste of our time. But okay, to be fair, if they did this in a way that it makes Milo grow as a character, you could at the very least have a purpose. But that's not what they do. I at first I thought that's what they were going for, but they don't. But you'll see.
You're
Is it at least fun to watch?
Great, more political parallels.
Well, it is a civil war.
Brian, Mike, you've wasted so much of my time.
That's the thing, Jova. Again, when the first series tried to be political, at least it knew how to stay in boundaries of its own fantastical setting. Here, it's clearly a parallel to, for example, the Beijing protest. For example.
So the Avatar's getting a bit of a odd reception.
Allow me. There's nothing wrong with a more lighthearted subplot about hijinks and stuff. I mean, the original series also had those kind of things too. The problem is that, first of all,
bombing.
I'm sorry, Michael Bay took over.
So now we have our terrorist attacks.
That's because the show's a lot more adult. I mean, okay, for the sake of argument, the last show did have a war where the bad guys were planning to commit genocide by the end season. But I don't know.
I'm sorry if I say this. If I was normally watching by this point,
you
again,
already
like I
said you would.
Well, yeah, about the previous episode, but this would have been the point.
Really?
Right now, here.
Curious.
Again, the setting is not convincing, and right now we're just up in the ante. Look how similar to the real world this is. No, thank you. I did not wanted to watch an Avatar series to be reminded how similar it is to the real world.
This is the same problem Batman v Superman did.
I want to see people bending shit and throwing stuff at each other.
Bowling, Korra, bowling, literally not bowling.
Mako.
Marco literally just told you he saw a firebender running away.
I'm trying to imply that Mako is bland as shit.
No. To be fair, Mako actually is a pointer is what Dwips is
that
pointing
would be
out.
like if Tolkien's descendants decided to make a sequel to Lord of the Rings that shows like 300 years later how society has evolved.
Okay.
Or some shit.
Now we're on a red carpet.
You'll see.
Remember, Dwibs, Bolin is going to become an entertainer.
Hey, pro bending!
Yay! Great, more pro bending because I missed.
No, just.
Hey, at least we get more Jeff Bennett out of it.
Not even Jeff Bennett can save this for me.
Why was Bolin trying to be Hulk Hogan?
Let me just finish.
Oh wait, this bit.
Okay.
Wait.
Well, at least Jeff Bennett gets a bigger role now. Yeah, how about that Civil War? Can we go back to that?
The problem, adults, especially those in the...
Oh no, really? I get it now.
I know what you're thinking, Tio, but believe me, I'm actually gonna say this right now. This is one of the better plot points of season 2.
No, that's the thing, Jova. If this was done in this day and age, this show would be massively consumed by rabid people.
Tio, this show was made not too long ago. In fact, this season...
Not to the point not to the point. It's just missed the mark where people started injecting more politics and stuff in the media.
Pedro.
Yes, Shirei?
The problem is a lot of adults think that being mature means no fun allowed.
Let me put it
and that's why we get shit like this.
Let me put it like this. Yes.
Well, to be fair, this show does have humor. It's, I mean...
not a lot, though.
Go ahead, Jova.
Okay. To be fair, I can see what some people mean. Yes, the original show was not subtle, but being subtle doesn't automatically make it good. Speaking of which, this bit here.
It depends, Shiroi. Hold on.
Because we gotta make the president an obvious corporate guy who wants to look good. Also, I have a question here. Okay, so the 4 council members thought, yeah, clearly we shouldn't have 4 people balancing power instead. Let's give all this power to one guy, a president. In fact, how are you president of a city? Isn't that more like a mayor?
Oh god, Jova, Jova, now I got it. The 4 councilmen are the
Yes.
exact same. No, the council for Mass Effect. They're identical in behavior and everything.
Here's the thing: they gave all their power to one guy for reasons.
Yeah, I can imagine one of them doing the air quote and say, "Ah, yes, the Civil War. We have dismissed that claim."
I'm sorry, but where was the idea in dissolving the power of 4 council members into one person?
Well, we're kind of a bit
Who's
overstressed.
voicing
Had
him?
an
I heard his
explosion
voice
last
actor
night.
already.
I don't have the cast list on me at the moment.
I could check. I'll check the episode itself on IMDb.
Just
Hold
don't.
on, I think it's now. Hold on.
I'll check IMDb Korra Peacekeepers, and yeah, Korra's just wandered off again.
Hold on, Dwebs. It's time for once again for Korra to once again get pissed at Mako for no reason. Yeah, what's with you insides, bitch?
I'm trying to relax here.
You're in my way, sir.
Well, fuck you too, then, bitch. Like, I don't.
When he's like this,
Fucking teenagers.
hey,
Yeah.
Mako finally gets more character, but of
Can
all
we-
the
can
ways
we-
to
can we-
flesh it out,
Can we please change the main character?
I agree. Look,
Can we make a show about Varric?
honestly,
Oh, Asami, you exist.
Yeah, so Sami
Anyway,
still exists. I'm still
anyway,
in the
what was
show,
the
by
name
the
of the-
way.
What was
Oh,
the name
good,
of the
more
character?
Varric.
You wanted to know the actual
Well, Shiro, let's not forget her ultimate purpose at the end of this whole thing.
you know,
Uh,
aside from that, yes, Dwibs?
Could you remind me again what the name of the character was that you want me to have a look at? Who the
President
actor was?
Raiko.
Okay, Spencer Garrett.
All right, hey, Varric.
Teleportation.
Just gonna have a look at what he's done.
See, Shiro, we're having fun right now because Varric's on screen.
He was in Air Force One.
In Magivation.
Oh god. Well, he trademarked
Because
it.
Nickelodeon. Chili pepper.
Well, that'll increase your circulation.
That's
What's
a
wrong with
bad idea.
omega-3 tablets?
See, the thing, well, when it comes to the whole no fun allowed, Shiroi, it depends on the subject matter. The problem is that this show doesn't really have enough of a mature subject matter to warrant a tone like that. If the show had a tone, if this was a
Wait, hold on. He's got an idea.
That's not good.
Well,
I'm not
desperate-
quite sure
That's
that's how
a
it
terrible
works.
idea, actually, because that's how totalitarianism starts.
Well, to be fair, desperate times call for desperate measures as far as they're
What the fuck
concerned.
is wrong with this show?
A lot.
Oh, but here's the thing also. He plans to use the war so that Asami can also make money off of it because, let's be quite honest, war's one of the easiest things to profit off of. I mean, he's got a point. I mean, well, that's the thing, though. War does actually make a lot of business to the point where it even creates jobs. Yeah, I know it's kind of controversial, but that's kind of one of the facts
Joe,
of
but that's
life.
the thing. It's a power that's easily exploited and abused by people, so...
Oh,
yeah.
well, yeah, absolutely.
And so now he's going to make a motivational film.
Also propaganda. But you know what? That's the thing about Varric. Yes, a lot of the ideas he's coming up with are very controversial, but let's think about it from his perspective.
What the fuck? It's not a horror movie.
Eska. Well, to be fair, considering that last he saw Eska, she was charging at him guns a-blazing.
Calm down, mate. She's thousands of miles away.
Okay, yes, some of
For
Varric's
now.
methodologies here are controversial, but thinking about it from their perspective, they don't have as many options to help out their home. Also, it does relate to how things in real life were with how tough these decisions were. And that's another reason why I like Varric better as a character. Varric's the one who actually comes up with a lot of these ideas and actually does help get the plot moving, more so than Korra.
The basic point, Shiro, is that you can have a mature story that doesn't have that much humor in it, as long as you have a subject matter that actually warrants a tone like that.
I think
this
I
show does
see
not
your-
have. Well, it could have if they focus on the Civil War aspect. but they decided not to.
Well, technically they are right now, but that'll get dropped enough soon enough. But for now, we are focusing on it. I think I see also what you mean about the maturity story. It's like, well, while this show does have humor, it feels like they're trying to make it more, quote-unquote, balanced, in the sense that they're trying to make it less kiddie-wise.
Yeah, I helped by turning a page.
Is that it, Roy?
Yay!
Actually, you know what? Never mind. We have kid-friendly stuff like this crap.
You
Well,
wasting J.K. Simmons for this.
Yes. Okay. Let me finish what I was talking about the subplot. Okay, you can't like I was saying. Even the original series did have lighthearted plots that were mostly just comedic and lighthearted. That's fine. Here's the problem: you can't just flip-flop between Civil War shit and explosions and then stuff like that. The reason it worked in the original series because the original series was for the most part lighthearted. Yeah, it's darker episodes. But for the most part, it kept itself mostly lighthearted. This show, on the other hand, has a lot of problem in just picking a consistent tone.
Okay, I gotta say this. For a society that was supposedly based off of freedom, there are certainly a lot of restrictive rules of how they treat their animals. Like, I'm sorry, but last I recall, whenever an airbender bonded with a sky bison, it was about equality. Here, it seems like when it comes to lemurs, they treat them like pets, which... I'm sorry, I don't recall ever there being any indication that's how they treated them.
I guess considering anger represented the generational gap and the new generation of airbenders, I guess you can argue that it changed the traditions.
If you don't get results, so you're fired.
I need pictures.
Oh, goody, here we go.
Oh, God. We're almost at the desk scene.
What?
Let's just say, guys.
Burning the desks.
Let's just say, guys. This is probably the most infamous scene of the entire show, and for no
for a horrible reason. Are we doing this kind of subplot? We know who the culprit is, but he's a cop, so we cannot.
No. In fact, I actually think that would be preferable.
I never liked those.
Interesting.
Dismissed. Also,
Bruce Lee. Was that why a Bruce Lee reference of all things?
I guess say Bruce Willis. Do you have any evidence?
Oh, I think it's now. Listen, is it the mustache line? When does it become the mustache line, Jova? Because that's such a stupid line.
Oh, here we go.
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, what does that have to do with
clout.
anything?
It's purely clout.
If she picks a position, yeah, that actually is relevant. It's similar to how in some societies co-workers cannot engage in romantic relationships.
See, this is why Mako was warning Korra about taking a side so explicitly. I mean, as the Avatar, of course she's going to be in the public light, and with her publicly taking a side, yeah, that means she could influence someone who's her boyfriend.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you so.
I'm listening.
So there you go. So there you go. He's gonna tell. So there you go. He's gonna tell them something about.
Hey, Korra. General Iroh, you were like there for the last 2 episodes of the last season, and you still have Dante Bosco's voice.
Let me guess what he says. Is he told them what Korra's planning? Yeah, that'll fool him.
Why are you wasting Dante Bosco on this character?
Speaking of wasting Dante Bosco...
It's like hiring Hugh Laurie to be a janitor who was in the background.
Oopsie.
That would be kind of funny for the weirdness factor. Yeah. Marco told him, didn't he?
Well, he had no choice.
Very good, Webs. And you know
Wait, hold on. Yep, and so as far as Dante Bosco's character goes, that's pretty much his role for the season.
So there you go. Notice how she took that. Notice how she took that maturely. I'm sorry. My hands are tied. Okay, fine. I understand. Notice how she's being mature and understanding right now. Keep that in mind for later.
Yeah, I guess she's gonna rip the shit out of Marco.
When did Bolin became?
I'm gonna have Jova. I'm gonna have to say something that you're probably gonna disagree. Honestly, while I do love Varric, this particular subplot of Bolin becoming a movie star, I never cared much for this. I don't think it's funny, honestly. It's just unnecessary and just weird, honestly.
I'm sorry, but I'd much rather see Bolin try to be a movie star with that club. He did. Well, he's a police officer. It's kind of his job.
I mean,
He'd be in trouble.
All right, this plot point. Okay, I could maybe have forgiven this plot point if it had a point, because okay, Avatar: The Last Airbender had one episode of filler, and even still, that episode of filler did actually help out. This. Well, watch what he can do now.
See,
he's actually gotten matured enough to train an entire fleet of lemurs. Now you're probably thinking, this will be a useful thing for a climax. Nope, never again.
With terrible CGI.
Allow me to add to what Jova's saying. Filler in shows can be good for character purposes, in the sense that you get the audience to spend time with the characters.
Oh, fudge you! Maybe you don't need to be so strict. Never mind the fact that that's the reason we started this whole plot. Like, what was even the message? That he should let the kid be a kid?
If you see a flying lemur...
Oh boy, here we go.
Here we go.
It was my job, damn it. Why'd I do a southern accent, though? That was a perfectly good desk, man.
You're lying, Anna. You betrayed me. I'm fed up with this world.
No, you have to do it in a different kind of...
Can I be off the video?
There you go.
There you go. And then everyone in the background's like...
You see, Jova,
yes.
Jova, you can actually...
I'm not even angry, seriously.
Yeah, honestly...
One
at a time. Wait, this line.
Sorry.
Let's listen to this. Yeah, that's a kind of a good joke.
Let me remind you, according to Pema, it sounds like Pema manipulated that, so... At least Lynn sounds like she had all rights to... Oh, wait, hold on. By the way, we almost forgot that plot point.
When I was angry in the first series about episodes of which I was angry for, there was a reason. That's because I was caring,
Oh, hey, it's you two again.
It's just...
Yeah.
I would make... honestly, I can't even think of a nickname for these two. I mean, what would be a good nickname?
I'd appreciate more Esk acting crazy if it weren't for the fact that after this, she goes back to being calm. I'm not even kidding. No pursuit of Bolin whatsoever. But whatever. They're fighting Korra and whatnot, and they're bending and bending. But I kid you not, this has one of the most nonsensical endings to a fight scene you are about to see, ladies and gentlemen. Because out of nowhere, out of flipping nowhere, a spirit comes.
Well, we got that foreshadowing with the boat being attacked, so...
Yeah, we did. We didn't get foreshadowing for what's about to happen, though.
Yeah.
What's this?
So, what's going to happen now, then?
Korra, you want to maybe try spirit bending it? No?
Well, to be fair, remember, Jova, she's bad at the whole spiritual thing.
Okay, maybe the Avatar State will do something against one spirit. Oh, never mind. I guess the Avatar State makes her good at spirit bending.
Basically, just ask help to the other avatars.
Even though wasn't it Unoak who discovered spirit bending in the first place anyway? How would the other avatars know about that? But no, for some reason, nope, it doesn't work. So what happens? She gets eaten.
Yeah, Joe, you mentioned the Avatar fate in the
And then a rhinoceros eater.
Well, There goes our...
And that was the legend. And that was the Legend of Korra.
Well, guys, you said you wanted a different...
Kind of a dark ending. Kind of a dark ending. I know,
She
but
deserved
that was the ending. Korra died, so the show's over.
Well, guys, you
So-
said you wanted a different protagonist, and now we can focus more on other characters who are better, like Mako, who's actually doing his job and actually trying to solve the mystery.
Wait,
but
it's that like a core shows up only at the end of the season now or something?
You'll
No.
see, you'll see.
You'll
Let's
see.
let's just say we're gonna move the focus away from Korra for a bit, and thank God, because fans hated Korra after this episode. And could
Well,
you
no
even blame
shit.
us? This reminds me, Pedro. Now that we've seen this happen,
She's not but a psychopathic bitch. Go
which
ahead.
reminds me, Pedro. Now that the scene has happened, it's time to bring out the list.
Yes. Okay, everybody. So you basically everybody forgot these entire commentaries going back to the beginning. We have been secretly keeping a tab on the psychopathy checklist. What is the psychopathy checklist? Basically, Google it, and on Google Images you'll be able to find it. The psychopathy checklist revised. Basically, let's try and go for the 20 psychopathy checklist real quick. And basically, I will be naming the traits. Any trait that everybody and basically all of the other commentators will say yes or no, depending on whether Korra has this. So the 20 traits of a psychopath. Number 1, glib and superficial charm.
Oh heck yeah! Ever since she was a kid, and she never grew out of it.
Number 2, grandiose, aka exaggeratedly high estimation of self.
I'm the Avatar. You gotta deal with it.
Yeah. Number 3, need for stimulation. Yes.
Let's see. She forces herself onto Mako. She's constantly looking for danger and whatnot. And this last episode kind of shows.
Remember, Joe, remember that scene where she was supposed to be meditating and she was scratching her ass while the meditation was supposed to be going on? Remember that?
Next.
Number 4, pathological lying.
Ooh.
This should go without saying. Number 5, cunning and manipulativeness.
Let's see. She took advice. She took advice from Pema, and sure, Pema gave bad advice, but all the same, she manipulated it so that she could try and get Mako to admit he liked her during the spirit of
And also-
I
competition.
don't think Korra is that manipulative because she isn't really very subtle.
Shiroi, the spirit of competition.
Not just that, Shiro. Let's not forget that scene where she manipulates that judge into changing his mind by threatening for Naga to eat his head.
To be fair, that wasn't so much being manipulative, that was just outright threatening him.
Manipulative means that you trick people into doing what you want and do not threaten them into doing what you want.
Now that's what
guess.
the spirit of competition is for, because she knowingly uses Bolin to try and get close to Mako.
Also,
Well,
the whole thing of it, I kind of side-eyed the whole need for stimulation one. Like, the other point's fair enough, but that one actually applies to a lot of different issues. So that one is basically one of the lesser of the ones on this list.
That's exactly
That's like open to interpretation.
That's exactly it, Shuri. If it was just need for stimulation, it wouldn't be that much an issue. It's the fact that it's coupled with all these other issues that it's a part of the puzzle.
Yeah, need for stimulation by itself is not necessarily a bad thing. It's when it's paired with these others that it's a problem. Anyway, number 6, lack of remorse or guilt. This should go without saying.
Let's see, season 2. Korra, are we gonna mention any of the times you legit screwed up in season 1? No, let's just blame it on everyone else, even Mako.
Shallow affect, aka superficial emotional responsiveness. Well, yeah. Number 8, callousness and lack of empathy. Let's not forget the fact that she had no problem whatsoever threatening the life of a judge.
Don't forget the first episode where she literally assaults some cops and smiles about it.
Parasitic lifestyle. Well, okay, this one not really.
No, if anything, her life saved. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
and as soon as she got an opportunity, she changed.
Oh, look, you only have to look at this episode for number 10. Poor behavioral controls. And here's one that me and Teo that couldn't use in Spirit Riding Free when we were watching this show privately, but now we can. Number 11, sexual promiscuity.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
triangle.
What does that mean?
Sexual promiscuity is when you force yourself on remember when Korra forced herself onto Mako by kissing him? That's sexual promiscuity.
You know what's fun, guys? Hey guys, you know what's fun? All that love triangle stuff we dealt with in season 1 is now pointless because Korra and Mako are broken up.
And Jova, trait number 12 is perfect for your Korra impression, child Korra, I mean. So get ready. Number 12, early behavior problems. Jova?
Where do I even begin?
I'm the Avatar, and you...
I'm the Avatar, and you gotta deal with it again, yada yada yada. I mean, that's extending beyond just her childlike behaviors. Season 1 had behavioral issues, although to be fair, that was season 1.
Early behavior.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Number 13, lack of realistic... Well, no, she... Okay, in the first season, yes. In the second one, not so much. So
Lack of realistic what now?
Lack of realistic long-term goals. To be fair, this one doesn't apply.
And I guess to be fair, she's literally the Avatar, so she's kind of warranted to have that larger-than-life view.
The following ones are very, very easy to say yes. Number 14, impulsivity, yes. Number 15, irresponsibility, yes.
Hell yeah.
Number 16, failure to accept responsibility for own. Number 17, many short-term marital relationships. Well, yeah, she literally went from dating Bolin to dating Mako in the span of
they're not marital relationships.
And once again, I need to stress out, these characters are angsty teenagers where hormones are completely out of control.
Fair
imagine
enough.
having all these hormones and superpowers.
Number 18, juvenile delinquency.
Okay, so that's...
I myself
16.
can see that.
So far we're like 16 for 2.
Basically. And 19, revocation of conditional release. Let's not forget when she released when she
aiding in someone escaping the law.
When she did.
I mean,
20,
okay, to be fair on that one, her father was innocent, but under the circumstances...
No, he's referring to season 1.
Season 1. When did she help anyone escape in season 1?
Actually, I think... Wasn't it during...
When her friends were captured by Tarak.
Oh, that was Lin who got them out.
No. I think I'm thinking of season 2 actually, if I remember correctly. Well, whatever. I remember because I even turned to Tail and said, "Hey, Tail, revocation of conditional release." But anyway, whatever. The point is number 20, criminal versatility.
Well, to be fair, Korra kind of sucks at doing that. So
yeah. So basically, everybody, out of 20 psychopathic traits, she only misses three or four. So basically, she at this point, the only diagnosis is that she's basically a psychopath, and the show seems to be completely unaware of this.
I mean, Mako seems to be aware. The problem is that the show doesn't exactly treat him like he's right. I mean, I'm sorry. I know you're trying to have this back and forth thing, but Mako is right. Like, I mean, he's right that it may not have actually been waterbenders, considering the people who actually saw plant the bomb.
Not only that, he's in a position where he cannot take that kind of place.
Like, let's say he does try and defy the precedent, but loses his job. Well, then he won't be able to continue the investigation on who may have actually done it. But no one seems content to listen to him because, oh God, Lin. They turned her into the stereotypical police chief who doesn't believe the rookie, this or that. Of course, there's the 2 higher-up cops who are clearly incompetent and impeding him in every progress.
Because that's what they want to see in an Avatar series.
Oh, boy. I mean,
this show is completely lost whatever the point it was trying to make.
That would be like if I wanted to see something... Oh, continue.
Oh, go on.
Actually, I think he was saying that to me. Whatever, I'll continue. Yeah, this the basic point, everybody, is that this show has basically completely lost the plot. It
had one.
Well, let's see. There was the spirits, but then there was the Civil War.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Dwebs. At first, it seemed like we were finally getting somewhere with this thing, but now we've completely lost track again.
Anyway, what I was saying is it would be like if I wanted to see something, a product tied to, say, Harry Potter, and all I was shown was someone at the Ministry of Magic filing out taxes.
Well, that's kind of what we got. Well, Crimes of Grindelwald is the film for you, then.
Actually, I heard worse things than that.
Oh, that movie is very, very
whatever.
bad.
The point being, this show is completely lost to me now, and I want to stress out, though, that you can still make a show with a character that has these traits and still be likable. because again, by all accounts, from what we have seen and hear, Kyoshi had basically these exact same same traits.
Yeah.
But honestly, from what I've seen, I wanted to see more of Kyoshi.
Oh, no, of course.
And her
No,
escapades.
exactly.
No, hold on. Let me make it. The problem is in what's around Korra in this case. The people that are around there are either not interesting or not. What's the name? Having good synergy with this condition. The setting is not even a good synergy with this condition. It's just a mess.
Not just
what
that,
it
but
is.
to add to what Tay was saying, yes, you can. One of my favorite movies is Stanley Kubrick's Clockwork Orange, where the protagonist is a complete psychopathic asshole. Here's the big difference. Unlike in Korra, that character is never portrayed in a positive light.
Hell, I'm actually going to
all.
say this right now.
Hold
Oh,
on,
go on.
just give me a
Go
moment. He's not even portrayed in a negative light either. You're allowed to decide whether you want to like him or not. The movie doesn't ask you to take a side. But this is not a Kubrickian show by any sense of the imagination. That would be an insult to Kubrick's legacy. This show clearly wants us to be invested in Korra as the protagonist. So, and like I said, the show always portrays it in a positive light whenever it wants and whenever it can. And I'm sorry, no, you can't just be completely ignore the fact that this character is a complete psychopathic bitch. Address it.
Well, she's dead now, so...
Or at least accommodate it. Have the setting become so grim, dark, and
Or
better
is it-
until it actually is what saves the day.
Or is it going to be like in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, where Sparrow got eaten, but instead of being digested, he ends up in Davy Jones's locker, and the gang have to get him out of it?
You might be onto something, Dribs, but not quite.
Why, of all the movies to take inspiration from, why Pirates 3?
Just go ape shit. Do some old good old fashioned ultra violence. Turn this into Clockwork Orange.
You
At
know,
least that might be some.
I'm guessing that didn't happen.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that.
Again, honestly, all of these points me out to the fact that two main guys should have just say to Nickelodeon, fuck it and quit it. So at the very least, someone else, like Ashore, would have to be blamed, and Nickelodeon itself. Instead, they voluntarily chose to continue when they clearly should have not. Thus, they are to blame as well.
I mean, like I said, seasons 3 and 4 are better, but I wouldn't
These
blame...
are the guys that are going to be helming that live back.
Okay,
To be fair, Dweebs, the conditions...
Can you feel the excitement?
We don't know if the conditions are similar, Dweebs.
and as I said before, season 3 and 4 are better. But I will say this, I would not blame you if you had walked out in season 2. Heck, I kind of took a break from the series after season 2 because of how disillusioned I was.
For me, it was just at this point, I was just rolling my eyes, but at the same time watching it just for the sake of seeing where exactly is this even going to go.
Oh, yeah, I will say this.
And so I could properly discuss the show online as well.
Yeah, oh, trust me, I will say this. Your reactions to the ending of the season might be worth it. Not in the sense that it'll be good, mind you, but oh boy. If you thought the season finale of season 1 of Legend of Korra was crazy...
And even seasons 3 and 4, for as good as they are, season 4 still ends with a complete "what the fuck are you doing" ending. But we'll get to it.
Well, that's yeah, true that bit. But anyway, the thing about Korra is Korra, as many people point out, Korra is like a compilation of the gang. She's definitely got hints of Aang, Katara, Sokka, Toph, and Zuko in her. But one thing I noticed is this, though. Korra is psychopathic, yes. But let's think about it. In a way, Korra feels like... well, a person we're supposed to find more heroic, but she's like the heroic version of Azula when you get down to it. Azula, as you may recall, was a complete and utter psychopath, but here's the thing, pretty much everyone acknowledged it. Her mother called it a monster, Azula acknowledged that her mother called her a monster, didn't even think she was lying about it. Zuko pretty much points out how she always lies. Heck, even her supposed...
she herself admits it.
Exactly,
She doesn't care.
Heck, her friends are only around well, okay, Tylee's only around because she's scared.
She
May's
practically wore it as a badge of honor.
Exactly, that's the thing. Azula knew she was a psychopath, but she owned it. She used it tactically.
I'd also like to mention Azula is the villain. Just saying.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like, well, okay, let's say you want to make a more heroic Azula. Well, essentially, that's kind of what the Beats did. Well, not in the sense that she was the good guy, but in that she was the protagonist, as in, yeah, we're seeing things from her side of it. Obviously, that doesn't make her a good guy, but she's the protagonist. Why not do something similar like that with Korra? Like, let's think about it here. Azula would have been a terrible character if nobody acknowledged that she was a psychopath. Like, again, there's an interesting thing with Korra, how she acts here. She does technically have the reason because of her upbringing. The problem is that no one ever really calls her out for it. I mean, sure, Tenzin does, but he just gets told off. Like, no one ever really effectively calls her out on it. Like, whenever she changes, it's often when she decides to change. Azula was one who reacted to the world around her, and she only started breaking down because her elaborate plans started failing with Boiling Rock when she miscalculated with May loving Zuko more than she feared her. So with Azula, it was a compelling thing. Like, many people argue, Azula could arguably be considered one of the main characters, if not the main villain, seeing as how she had more of a presence than her father until season 3. But again, Azula won the fans over, to the point where some even felt sorry for her in her utter defeat. Whereas with Korra, I'm just like, oh, she got eaten? Good, maybe she'll get a Pinocchio kind of lesson, because honestly, I don't even really like Pinocchio, but honestly, Korra just needs an actual lesson, one that she'll listen to. Like,
She needs a conscience.
Basically, I gotta say, Joe, that is quite a lesson. You keep fucking it up, you'll get eaten by a giant monster.
I think a better comparison, Jova, would be Zuko, because Zuko was also an asshole at the beginning of the show, but the big difference
Zuko wasn't a psychopath even when he was the villain,
true,
ironically.
True. Well, true, but at the same time, what I'm trying to say is that the big difference with Zuko, we understand why he is the way he is, and we empathize, not sympathize with that. And not to mention, like I said, there's of course the fact that Zuko can be argued to be in a lot of ways the true main character of Avatar: The Last Airbender, because
he has some of the most change.
He's the one that changes the most throughout the entire thing. So you can have a character that's another thing. Like Jova said, we have no context for Korra being the way she is. She just is, because I guess the writers don't understand what they're doing, because we have no context for why she is the way she is, so we can understand her better.
Well, okay. As the others have stated, we do have the context for why Korra is the way she is. The problem is that she doesn't seem to be making any efforts to grow out of it. Sure, you had a sucky childhood and you were confined constantly your whole life.
Context is not strong enough, if you ask me. You need more.
Well, that's my point. It's like, well, sure, there's context, but they don't do enough with it. Or rather, sure, they do stuff with it, but enough is enough. You can only mope and complain about how bad your childhood was before it becomes apparent that you're more the problem than the people supposedly holding you back.
Yeah.
It's like if I blame the world for not being able to concentrate because
we're dragging this. We're dragging this. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, okay, guys, since we won't be hearing from Korra a while, how about your thoughts on her as she makes her exit, Shiroi?
I'm gonna enjoy the break.
Maybe if she recovers.
I'm guessing this is where all the pro-bending filler comes back.
Actually, pro-bending doesn't really come back. I mean, as I stated, the Fire Ferrets are knocked out of the season.
Actually, no, Shiroi. It's not going to be in the next episode. It's going to be the one after that. But now that Korra is gone, we're going to switch shows. Basically, for 2 episodes in a row, Shiroi, this show is going to become a completely different show, even though and for no real reason other than because the story that they're going to tell with those episodes doesn't have anything to do with it.
Actually, Pedro, Beginnings comes after the Sting.
That's what I said. Not in the next episode, the one after that.
Oh, true. I guess you might want to be technical. Yes, Twibs?
Do we get to? You mentioned what our thoughts are. Now that Korra's gone for a bit, the only way that Korra can start to redeem herself in my eyes is if she tells us what the inside of a spirit looks like.
It's funny you mention that, Dwibs.
We'll get back to you 2 episodes from now.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
The key word is that they try. The key word being try. Well, folks, the good news is that we'll get a break from Korra, and that's kind of sad when I have to celebrate a break from the main character.
But we'll see you next time then.
See you for the Sting.
See ya.
See ya.